Halloween
forever.
Hey, do you guys know what you get from sitting in the snow too long?
What?
Oh my god.
Polaroids.
Oh,
Welcome, boys and ghouls, to another just a regular asshole minisode of Halloween's Forever. I'm Brian.
I'm Meg.
I'm Steve.
I do these 100% for Steve's disappointed. I'm Steve.
It's always just a bafflement on my end of like, did he make that one up? Or did he pull that one from the 1001 joke book sitting on the back of his toilet?
I'll never tell.
20 bucks says he gets a couple of them from his daughters too. So.
Sometimes, guys, we're here. I feel like this, for some reason, I feel like this is like the first episode of the new year, although I know it's not. It feels kind of like it is for whatever reason, because I feel like we're back to the regular cadence here of the show. So if you're joining, if this is your first time listening this year, welcome. You're already behind. You already fucked up a little bit. Not beyond repair. You could still go back and listen to the first episode of the year. But, or no, there was a mini-sode even before that. Let's just say clean slate, guys. Everything that happened is behind us. Yes, Meg's the champ.
Hey.
I understand.
Hey,
that's
please do not diminish my championship
we
here.
need to accept that. But let's start it off strong. Let's start off on a clean slate, guys. We've got beers. We've got spooky ookies to talk about. As I said, if you didn't listen to last week's episode, I've already spoiled it for you, but Meg did take home the strap for the month of January.
Yeah, I did.
So she's kicking off January with a W. Did we ever tally things up last year? I know it was only half a year. There was an asterisk behind last year, but was there someone who pulled ahead in terms of
Might have been
the
Meg.
amount of really?
Well, I mean, if we no.
I won the first one, and then I think I won one other one. Yeah, because I did the bad taste. Yeah, I won one. I think I won two last year. So
Yeah, if we're not counting this current win by her, then I think it's either tied. Yeah, I don't know what the months are, but I know I have two, and then it's probably 3-3 between you two, or
I know I had 3. So 3 plus 2 is 5. We started in June. So we got 7.
it's a lot of math to be doing live.
So I have 3. This is what the people want. They want to hear us do math in our head. I got 3. Steve got 2. So Meg must have had 2.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where I came up with 3 and 3 because now you guys are tied.
Yes. Yes. Now we are currently tied. Correct.
Yeah.
So, but guys, I did take it home for 2021, even though it was a partial year. I was the winningest champion in 2021.
Jesus.
Let's just face it. Just face it. It's math. You can't argue with math.
Said it is a new year, Brian.
It
is
is.
a
You're
new
right.
fucking year.
You're
and
it.
guess
You're off
who's the
to a
champ?
start.
Me.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, I still need the belt. You son of a bitch.
Hey, next month what we'll do is maybe we'll get exorcisms and then you can pick the exorcist. You fucking clown. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just sore because I picked a movie that never had a chance.
Well, it was fun, albeit it was fun. You always
was
pick
fun.
good fun ones. I will give you that much at least.
I did.
Neither of us had a chance, Brian. And,
That's true.
And if we wanted to have a chance, we would have made protests before, and said she couldn't pick Carrie. After she picks Carrie, what are we going to do?
It's game over.
Right after I texted you guys, I just gave the middle finger to my phone.
Yeah. Listen, I love Carrie. So you know what? I didn't argue because I hadn't watched the movie in a while. I wanted to watch it again. I figured, you know what? Let's lure Meg into a false sense of security. Let's get her all pumped up. She thinks it's going to be a fucking cakewalk in 2022.
I brought it.
And then next, you're going to be standing in the middle of the ring, holding up your belt above your head. I'm going to fucking come out from underneath the ring, chair to the back of the dome. Fucking CTE City for you.
See, that's my. I have a bigger contention with you, Brian, of not putting up a fight for Night of the Creeps. and then just handing her the belt.
I couldn't. Listen. You have to set a precedent, and if we get into this methodology of like we do anything to win, no matter what, even if you know your movie is inferior, it's not the kind of guy I am. I'm a stand-up guy. Everyone knows this. Everyone knows this. Honest Abe over here. So
I have no trouble playing heel, and I'll fight every movie to the death.
Steve has established himself as an unlikely heel. But in any case, Meg did take it home, no matter how we slice it. So she got to pick the movie, the first. We've been calling them affectionately punishment films, but they're not always punishment films. This one I wouldn't consider a punishment film.
No, it wasn't
I enjoyed this.
Yeah,
it was from Meg 2009.
Yeah, it's 2009.
2009, Dead Snow.
Guys, I had to bring you back into my Scandinavian world.
Yeah,
I wanted to go something winter focused, and then I was like, ooh, perfect. Though I wish we were in person because I'm still sitting on all these Swedish snacks to share with you guys.
I know, and I have surprises for both of you as well. So whenever we finally get a chance to do this in person, which I don't know, maybe next week we will see.
Yeah.
Everyone was sick, and then we had holidays, and then shit happens and whatnot. Then I didn't have heat, which I do have heat again, which is good. It only got down to like 38 degrees in my house. But in any case, we are here. We are back. And we're going to talk about Dead Snow. But before we talk about Dead Snow, we had a couple things to do. Let's get beers. Anybody got beers? Meg, I know you got beers. I got beers.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited. I had to go to my storage unit over in Robinson. So I stopped at the Market District up there because there's usually an okay selection there.
Yeah.
And I just caught my eye. I saw this beer called Oh Mama Sticks. It's basically a Pittsburgh Steelers Sticks beer by Voodoo Brewing Company. It's a golden lager. It's only 6%, which is I think probably the lowest gravity beer they've ever brewed. Maybe, I don't know. But I love the can art. I think it's beautiful, and also affectionately for the Steelers this weekend.
Who did you say?
A W.
Who'd you say made it?
Voodoo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're known for the big boys.
Yeah,
for those of you who do not live in Steeler country here, it is a tradition. Some point at a pivotal point in the game at Heinz Field, they play Renegade super loud and everyone loses their fucking mind. So that's why there's a Pittsburgh Steelers reference here. But we snuck into the playoffs. I'm sure tons of diehard football fans out there. But I'm pretty excited about it, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, no, and I think I loved it even more because just affectionately, Styx was one of the earliest bands my dad introduced me to. There was
they're a fucking dad band all day.
Oh yeah, cassette played over and over and over again. It was amazing. Yeah.
You know what band my dad was super into?
What?
Chicago.
Good guess. Genesis.
Oh, yeah, he was
really into Genesis. I remember looking through his album collection when I was a kid, and it was the old milk crate full of records, and I'm looking through it, and it's expected ones. You got the Beatles and the Stones and stuff like that, and then 40 Genesis albums.
Oh wow,
that
really fucking into Genesis.
So
I don't know.
That's awesome. It's not a terrible band to be into.
No, you could do worse, I suppose.
Yeah.
Steve, what are you drinking?
Well, I just finished up.
Steve, what's your dad listening to?
What is your dad listening to?
Shania Twain.
It's a big Twain head.
For some reason, yeah.
It's funny.
You disappeared.
Yeah, I know. I disappeared because I wanted to show my photography of my spooky ghost glass.
Super awesome. I want that on a pin.
Yeah,
that is kind of cool.
I had my first smoogie today.
Gross.
Okay.
It was.
Sometimes I don't hate it, but it's when I just want to drink puree. I want to drink basically I'm into drinking a smoothie, but I don't want to get drunk.
Right.
Yeah.
I've never had one before, so I gave it a try. It is slop in a can.
Yeah.
And you need to constantly stir it as you drink it or else it separates. Yeah. So I had that, but I'm currently drinking something else by Cinderlands, which is in the Pittsburgh area. And I have their cherry pie like tart shake,
Yeah,
which is
how's
just
that?
another. Oh, it's good. That one I
Yeah.
like.
I like that
I do
one too.
like their tart shakes. I haven't had one in a while, but I remember the Moscow Mule one was like banger.
Yeah,
The cherry
pie
one's
one.
actually my favorite. Might be my favorite.
Really?
I like
Cherry's
anything cherry.
Yeah, I mean, like cherry's hard, but I think that's amazing to hear. It's cool.
Doesn't it have like graham crackers and shit in it too? It kind of
It
has
does.
like a kind of feels like a cherry cobbler ish type of thing.
I was gonna tell you guys too. When I stopped at Market District, they had a bunch of those like Yetis, but they had a Macron or Macron and then Macron. They had a pumpkin spice. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna kick myself. What was the third one? They had like at least 3 there.
Horchata,
Were they all
s'mores.
They
super
didn't have a
cheap again?
horchata.
S'mores,
No, there's.
probably.
I mean, they were like $10, and it wasn't s'mores. Yeah, no, it was a different flavor.
Hmm.
Because I remember I was talking about those ones, but I was like, oh, we didn't talk about these ones. Yeah, but no, they
Yeah,
were like
they're
still
good.
like $11 per,
Right.
and they were not in the section
Expensive.
where you could add it to a variety 6-pack,
Mhm.
like Steve's Giant.
The old
Eagle.
Steve special, yeah.
my renegade giant eagle that doesn't know how beer works.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of how beer works, I apparently don't know how beer works because I went on to one of my favorite breweries in the country, which still I'm like waiting. I'm hoping it never changes. They are still shipping beer to Pennsylvania, which is Notch Brewing Company in spooky ass Salem, Massachusetts. But I went on and I was like, oh, we'll see what they have on there. They didn't have anything that like I was like, oh my God, I have to try that. But they had just like the session pills, just that's kind of their flagship. It's like their Czech 10-degree lager. It's killer. So I ordered a bunch of that. And then I threw in the first non-German / Czech beer from them that I've ever had, which is Left of the Dial, which is an English IPA. It's like a 4-point-something% English
Did
IPA,
you-
4.3.
Did you by chance snag any of their non-alcoholic stuff that they just put out?
No, I didn't.
I am very curious about that.
So almost. So anyway, what I did is I ordered this stuff, and then I was like, oh, I remembered that that somebody told me that they were releasing the standard, which is like their 12-degree, like their premium Czech premium, which is like one of my favorite beers in the world. The following week, and I was like, oh shit, I already ordered one, so I ordered again from them, but I got that, and they had a Czech 8-degree. Pale lager, which is like 2.8% ABV. So I'm excited to try that one because I honestly don't think I've ever had a Czech 8-degree. Usually like 10's like the low, 10 it goes up from there. So
Is that
So
beer
to
for
give it a try.
children?
yeah, beer for baby children. I like
Just
to drink
rub it on their
quantities.
No, I
For
need to actually
babies
do an
who
order.
hate to
You're like,
catch a
you always
buzz.
remind me of like, because I saw you post about it the other night, and I was just like, damn, I need to do an order. But I am very curious about their non-alcoholic and see.
I know. I saw it and I was like, I couldn't bring myself to order it
spend money.
because
It was
I'm
the
like,
same price. Yeah.
yeah, and also like I'm already getting a 2.8% beer. It's like, do I really need,
You're like, that's practically no alcohol.
yeah, that's pretty much no alcohol. I mean, you could literally drink 100 of them.
Pretty sure alcoholics would say otherwise, but yeah,
It's closer
for sure.
to no alcohol than some alcohol. But anyway, so I'm drinking the Left of the Dial, which is their English IPA, which is tasty. But
That is actually an NA beer for Voodoo, I would say.
4.3. Yeah. That's what this one is. Oh, you mean the 2.8, the other one that I got. Yeah. Guys, I'm not following the lines here. I'm not following the
I might be delayed
the
slightly.
storylines a little bit. No, I am 100% getting sick. I can feel it, and I'm just trying to drink through it. I've got like a very clammy, sweaty feeling right now, which I'm not thrilled about. I'm like kind of cold, but also kind of clammy. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I need to get a COVID test. Although I haven't left my fucking house, so where would I have got? I guess my kids could have brought it.
I was
going
going
to
to say,
they're
you
not
do have
sick.
children.
I know. I was going to say I haven't left my house besides maybe to go to the store for 2 seconds. But any case,
that's how I got it.
That
I
is
don't
how.
leave my-
Yeah,
I
that's
don't-
true.
Yeah, I don't leave my house except for to go to the store, and that's how I fucking got it. So
Yeah. Everyone's getting it right now, which really
Back
sucks.
to deliveries, guys.
I know. But hopefully that's not the case. I don't feel too bad, but we shall see. Real upper, guys.
Hey,
to kick off the
I
episode.
heard, wait, who is it? Killer Mike was talking about weed. helping you stave off some COVID.
Yeah.
So, hey, I mean, if Killer Mike said it, we got to believe it. So just start smoking a bunch of weed, dude.
I think I'm gonna eat like a pound of gummies right after this episode's
That makes
over.
sense. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a doctor, but
supposedly it's in the oils and the acids, so it may not be. Maybe you just want to double up, smoke a little so it gets in your lungs to protect your lungs.
Right.
But then also take some gummies to get through the bloodstream.
And maybe
So
like aspirate the gummies. Like suck them into my lungs.
This is officially like a Dr. Oz type podcast.
I like this. I like this a lot.
Can you put weed gummies in a humidifier?
Yeah. Speak of this reminded me really quick. So have you guys watched, I want to say it's on Netflix. It's called Midnight. I can't say Midnight Mass. It's not Midnight Mass. It is I don't remember, but it's a animated show that has like Duncan Tressel's
Midnight Gospel.
Midnight Gospel.
Yeah.
Duncan Trussell and I started watching it the other night. And the very first episode has Dr. Phil on it. And it just felt, and they're kind of having this whole conversation. He's like shooting zombies as the president, but they're just clearly having like a very informal conversation that they're just dubbing over like all this chaos.
I genuinely tried watching that show while tripping on shrooms one time, and it was just a lot.
Yeah, I would imagine.
But it was also like, holy fuck, in a good way.
I feel like that's what it's designed for.
Fuck yeah, it is.
Like,
absolutely. You need
Duncan
to be
Trussell
high
at all,
in some
like
fashion.
Yeah,
is it the same animation house that did like Super Jail and stuff?
It looks like Super Jail.
Yeah, because it's like all that super complicated, a lot going on, but like in a very sketchbook kind of way.
Yeah, and it like the thing that I used to draw on like the back of my papers, like worksheets in school, and we had extra time. They're like, just flip it over and draw something. And I would just draw like a bunch of guys like ripping each other's heads off and like shitting down each other's necks, and bullets with eyes flying around and shit. It's like that episode.
And then you went to the school therapist.
Yeah, it's like the guns are. You ever see that episode of Simpsons where Nelson's like, it's a gun that's shooting guns, and the bullets are little guns. It's like shit, this whole thing. All right. Anyway, let's get into this frickin' movie. Actually, beforehand, we're gonna do a little spinning of a wheel. Actually, aren't we?
Oh shit!
It's that time already, boys and ghouls. We are going to give you three sweet options for our February Showdown episode. And as Steve brings it up, I will remind you, this is how it goes. Once a month, we got a Showdown episode. We have topics, and those topics are suggested by, some of them are our listeners and social media friends and things like that. And we put all of them on a big spinning wheel. We spin it, we draw three of them, and then our listeners, followers, friends on social media vote to help us decide which one of those is going to be our Showdown episode for that month. We each pick a movie that's associated with that particular topic, and then we argue it and fight each other and things like that.
Unless you choose Carrie and Brian doesn't fight you on anything, and that's cool.
Planting seeds. I'll tell you, if you care to help us decide on what these topics are, go over to the old social medias. Give us a follow. You can just search Halloween is Forever. Halloween is Forever at Instagram, or at Halloween is Forever on Instagram. Halloween is Forever podcast on Facebook, at Hallow Forever on Twitter, Halloween is Forever pod at gmail.com, and then also at Halloween is Forever pod on TikTok as well. We've got a whole mess of topics on here. I don't know how many, dozens at this point.
A bunch.
Yeah, a whole fucking bunch of them. All right, so let's give it the old spinny spin and see what our first one is. Oh, good God, it's spinning, guys. It's spinning. Killer cars. That's a fucking topic. You could go, oh,
man.
And you know what? That is...
I didn't even know that was on the list.
I don't want to speak too soon, but I feel like that's a pretty clear-cut topic.
It's a pretty... yeah, I think so too, but can we also maybe, to avoid another Meg... situation.
Hey.
Can we say no, Christine?
I was going to say no Disney Pixar cars.
Well, no Disney. if you want to try it, if you want to convince us somehow that
Steve, that's some you move.
well,
Beetlejuice picking ass motherfucker.
there is the like the fan theory that it's like a vision of a dystopian future where the cars are alive.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't think I love Christine, don't get me wrong. But I don't think, I mean, there's Maximum Overdrive. There's a lot of car movies. I mean, I am partial to Christine. If everybody wants to exclude
Wait, what movie's
Christine,
going to be off the table?
he was suggesting that we exclude Christine.
Okay,
One
I've never seen that
Mr.
one.
John Carpenter's Christine. It is a absolute fucking banger. I'm not going to lie, but I don't feel like it's such a juggernaut that needs to be taken out of the equation.
I don't think anything in this topic. I mean, I feel like this topic, I mean, me coming from, maybe an ignorant spot of being like, there's no movie right now off the top of my head that's like, no, this is the movie I know everyone would want to see. So like, I'm cool with like, if you guys think like Christine's probably like maybe even top tier, that's fine. If someone chooses it, I'm cool with it.
Yeah. So just to back up, Brian, though, you were saying this is pretty clear cut and that we're just thinking the cars are haunted and they kill. Because the other, I'm gonna throw a suggestion to see if I see what you say about it. But like, there's Death Race 2000.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it things where cars are like the majority of the horror is inflicted by someone driving a car?
Yeah, because like, are cars the weapon?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Would you guys put like Death Proof in that realm?
It definitely
it's the
would
weapon.
be.
Yeah.
It is the weapon, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good example of it. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Killer
I'm cool with that
cars,
too,
it doesn't say sentient killer cars, right?
Right. So it could be Maximum Overdrive, or it could be Death Proof, or what's the one? I mean, like The Duel is a. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's great, but I think it's an example of somebody being
One where there's being behind the wheel. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few of them that
An
popped in my head.
antagonist behind the wheel.
Right. What's the one with the big murderous semi truck driver? Damn it! Why is it escaping me right now?
Semi truck. Well, I know what you're talking about because wasn't Paul Walker in it or Heath Ledger?
Yeah, I was going to say it was like an early
He's
2000s situation.
Mm-hmm.
Damn
Yeah,
it!
it's an
What's
early
the name of
2000s
that movie?
I can't remember either.
It's escaping me right now.
I keep wanting to say Black Dog with fucking Patrick Swayze.
The only thing I can think, which is so stupid because it's a mile away, is Killdozer. That's the only thing that's in my head
Killdozer
right now.
rules. That wasn't a movie. That was just a real event, and Killdozer is awesome.
Well, there's a Killdozer movie as well. It was it was like a TV movie from like the 70s.
Oh, completely different.
But anyway, killer cars. Good start.
Okay.
Good start.
Okay. Let's see what's next.
We spinning. Here it comes. Horror comedy.
That'll be fun.
That's a big one. That's a big
Appropriate
one
for this episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's a big one. We can go in a lot of directions there. Feel like horror comedy. I mean, we have established that we're almost always wrong on this. We go, oh, that's going to run away with it, and it never does.
Right.
But horror comedy is a big old broad one.
Yeah, how do you not want to talk about that?
Yeah. And last, but certainly not least, is big top horror. Anything that features the circus, carnival, clowns.
Clowns.
Yeah, there's a typo. Clowns. Clowns are they're
That's
cow
pretty good.
clowns.
Right.
For those of you who don't know, they are murderous clown cows. But no, big
We're putting
top
a
horror.
TM on that one.
Yeah. Big top horror. We were just talking about one of my all-time favorites, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Listen, I might just go with the clown NATO. You know what I mean? I might fuck around and go with the clown NATO. Who knows?
Hey, it's
Is that
possible.
actual?
Yes, that's an
Yeah,
actual
it's
movie.
Oh my
fucking miserable.
fucking god!
Meg,
It's
you
miserable.
are not on Tubi enough.
Get on the Tubi train.
You don't know about House Shark. You don't know about Shark Exorcist. You don't know about the Clown NATO.
Very true. I'm also disappointed that you guys didn't mention any of these when I was like, "Hey, I'm tripping. Give me a movie."
You don't want to watch Clown NATO. It's
They're not-
boring as
Yeah,
fuck.
they're no
All
good.
right.
Yeah. Although Santa Jaws, I did have a fun with. In any case, so those are our movies. We've got, remind me so I don't screw them up, we've got horror comedy, we've got killer cars, and then, of course, we've got big top horror, which is anything circus, carnival, clowns, that sort of thing. So, boy, those are 3 bangers.
Yeah.
I'd be excited to do any of them. So
That's going to be a fun February.
Fun February. That's what we call around here. Fun February.
I mean, hey, we got 2 that are fun. We got the clowns and we got the horror comedy. So it's fun February.
It's like when we're deep in depression and we're just like, let's laugh, guys.
You just turn into the Count from Sesame Street.
It was the Joker at the end of Batman 89 when he's got the thing in his pocket.
All right, Meg, you wanna lead us off here with this obviously lively discussion on Dead Snow?
So we have a pretty, I think, fun movie ahead of us. Like I said, this movie is based in Norway. And we have, I mean, with all the characters, I didn't go too deep because they are clearly all Scandinavian of sorts. So it might not be super relevant. I don't know if you guys dove into any of the actors or anything, but
nah, not really. None of them are recognizable, at least to me.
Yeah. So we open up and we have almost like this foreshadow moment of a character running through the snow in that night being chased clearly by what we find out to be these killer zombie Nazis.
Nazi zombies, guys. We got them.
Nazi zombies.
Sharks,
which
Nazis,
I have so
clowns.
many notes on this idea of them being actual zombies or not. I don't know if how soon we want to talk about that.
Yeah. No, I think it's fine because this movie, so there's not a ton of plot in this movie.
No.
But
It's pretty
it doesn't.
I feel like classic tropes of like, ooh, we're all just going on vacation type shit. You know what I mean?
the wild, horny teens going on a little or early
Weekend
20s
getaway.
Weekend getaway from Easter break, which is a thing apparently in
they're all
Nordic countries.
about to be doctors apparently. You know.
Are they all or just the ones?
No, they're all. They're all.
Are they?
Yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah.
I don't know if for you guys, I watched it on that one site that I gave you guys, but my subtitles were about 5 minutes ahead. So I had to like remember what they said when it came up and then use context clues the entire time.
No, I watched it on I have a package of grandma's old-fashioned cookies from back in 2009. So
yeah, gotcha. I just bit the bullet and just said, you know what? I'm not going to watch it in parts on YouTube.
Sure.
I'm just going to bite the bullet and spend $2.99 on Amazon Prime or whatever.
Yeah. If we want to talk about these zombies, I have so many random notes of how odd they are. But yeah, so this is, I feel like a very, like, I like how you said, like, there's really no plot because there really isn't. Because it's basically all these normal tropes where, you know, they're going away for the weekend, you know, the guys want to fuck the girls want to fuck the guys, like, and then they're partying and then shit goes fucking absolutely horrific. So, I mean, pretty much opening it up, we have, you know, going back and forth between the two cars. We get to know the characters and they get to basically their destination. And one of the characters takes a snowmobile to the house that they're staying at for the weekend while everyone walks. And I couldn't fully pick up through the subtitles because, like I mentioned, mine were very disjointed. But basically, they want. I initially thought I was like, oh, this dude's gonna like carry all their bags. That's why he's taking this snowmobile. And no, I'm just like, no, he just wanted to go fuck off for a while everyone carried their own shit to the cabin.
I was gonna say he was like, all right, you guys walk there. Take all your bags. Literally, one of them had a roller bag, like going into like a foot of snow, and he's like, peace out, bye. And he was like, all right, I'll open up the camp and I'll like start a fire and it'll all be warm and ready for you. I'm gonna be like, you can go do that. Take somebody on the back. Right. And then come pick people up and bring them back, you dickweed. Instead of saying walk 45 minutes in the snow with all your bags.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
It's Norway. It's good for them. They like exercise.
I guess they love that. Yeah, they love that shit. They live for snow.
They're on holiday, so for us Americans, we're like, no, fucking pick my ass up, and they're like, no, we're on holiday. Let's go fucking party. I just imagine their life being so glorious. Damn, I want to live in Scandinavia.
Well, here's the thing. They also have the health insurance that, if they get injured while they're on vacation, they can just go to a hospital rather than having to wait to get injured at work.
The wait to get injured at work.
Absolutely. I work to get injured, guys.
Yeah, that's
waiting
right.
for it.
Well, I mean, you can quote, get injured at work, but I mean, it's something you picked up on holiday.
Yeah. That's pretty good. The main snowmobiler, I couldn't tell if that was like Roy on there or Vergard.
That's Vergard. That's on the snowmobile.
That was Vergard. Okay. Okay. He gets to do the cabin and he lights a fire. I almost thought that there was going to be this odd scene where shit just gets fucked up from the beginning, and that's how like they wake up the zombies. Because like I don't know if I feel like Steve, you probably might have picked up on like just the odd timing of things. Of he was like mildly suspicious, and then everything was kind of just really slow while he was simply lighting a fire. And I was like, yeah, no, this house is gonna blow up right now. And
I don't know. Well, here's the thing. It's like I saw this movie when it first came out, like in 2009. Like this is like Best Buy heyday. So this was a rewatch for me. So like I don't know. I didn't have the same like anticipation or anything. I was just anticipating. I was anticipating when it got silly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it takes a while. It's like 30 minutes in. I mean, so when they get to the thing, I'm going to jump ahead, but you get the creepy old guy who shows up.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you get the conversation with him. But otherwise, and then you get, of course, the opening scene where there's like someone who gets killed off screen. But otherwise, it's like 30 minutes till a zombie. So you see like real zombie shit happening.
Right.
Yeah, you get the cold open, you get the exposition dump of the characters, then you get the harbinger of doom. So it all plays out pretty much the same as all of these other movies.
Right.
Yeah, it's just interesting and kind of off because they do have the one character who is like really into horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
He
And so
was
like
wearing a Brain Dead shirt too, which was
yeah.
awesome. I think it was great. I was excited.
Yeah. So, but he like points out all the tropes that they're experiencing as they experience them. It's like script armor for like, well, we're going to have a thing. We're going to have this very, common way of doing the film. But, don't be mad at us, please.
It reminded me in a weird way of the Polish slasher that you did, Steve, at No One Sleeps in the Woods. What was it again?
Yeah,
Something
No One
like
Sleeps in the Woods Tonight. Yeah.
Yeah. In the sense that this was felt like a Norwegian kind of love letter to zombies, but it was very slasher-esque too. Like it was a Norwegian love letter to Western, schlock horror.
Yeah. Yeah, two Evil Dead, I mean, they even bring it up, like I just said.
Yeah.
They bring it up. They name drop Evil Dead and Friday the 13th, and that's very much like what both the, what this movie's like in both. But it's in the snow.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. And I think in ways, I think they don't really make it too corny so that you're just like annoyed by that. I think they make it fun, and then like you see all the nods and you're like, I've kind of seen this before, but this is still kind of fun and still gruesome as fuck. And I like that about it. I would actually even just like to jump into when they meet the old man, which his name was they just referred to him as the Wanderer, but his real name is Bjorn Sundquist, as a good Scandinavian is named. And looking at his conversation, he basically just giving them the background of like what's going on. Like there is just stories and that things aren't really like there's a presence up here, and talks about how that this was like a main site for and during the World War II that was like accepting of Germans, and they called it the middle station for German destroyers, and the area was under leadership of Colonel Herzog. So he basically just was like a tyrant through that time too. So everyone who lived there, he just like beat the fuck out of, tortured, and just like put them through hell. But when the Germans knew that the Russians were coming and that they were probably going to have to succumb to them, they basically went around stealing all the like jewelry, silver, gold from all of the civilians. Well, the civilians decided to say, fuck these motherfuckers. We're going to rise up and get together. And during the middle of the night, they ambushed the Germans and they killed several of the soldiers, but the colonel still was able to escape. And with some of his soldiers, which we come to find out was more than just a few soldiers. It was quite a few. And they ran up the mountain with all of the stolen goods and whatnot. So this is where I think like there's like a weird disconnect between like me wanting to talk about calling them zombies. I'm like, I don't think they fully discussed, unless I missed it throughout watching it, of like how they could have been like become undead. I like the concept. I feel like it's like a weird, unique take on it, but the zombies basically are they can think, like they're smart, like they actually can make thoughts, and they actually can like hunt down things and make decisions. And the fact that they punch instead of just go and bite, I thought that was actually kind of fun.
And stab and use weapons, and they're
super fast. They slit their throats, like
they're like
they're gruesome.
Undead. There is some inconsistency in terms of their strength. Like they could rip a guy's head in half, but then also like a skinny Norwegian kid could like beat their ass too. Like it's very it's a little inconsistent.
I actually,
but they are like undead Nazis, but they certainly aren't the shambling type zombies.
Yeah, I consider it more because the one thing we haven't talked about yet is like the connection to the gold.
Right.
Of like that's, I mean, it's almost like Leprechaun, and that the story is that they're trying to recover their gold, but I think it's a lot more like they're cursed undead, which is why like their bites don't necessarily turn people, why they're not just brain dead shambling monsters, and why the colonel seems to have power over them. So
almost like what is this, like what is like the pirate from Pirates of the Caribbean, like
exactly like that,
kind of like that idea, that's kind of reminds me of that explains even way more, and I like makes me not even want to call them zombies, but just like undead, you know.
But it's exactly like that. It's like Barbarossa and his fucking crew. I like really liked the fact that like when you saw one of the characters with one of the pieces like from the box, like whether it was a gold coin or something else, that you're like, I know you're about to fucking die. I thought some of the kills were very interesting too.
It was weird. Speaking of the kills, it was a weird mix of like, in some instances, really, really great practical effects, and then in other instances, really shitty CGI blood and other CGI implements that fucking sucked. It was weird. It was a weird combination. Obviously, some things were added, I think, obviously after the fact. Like they decided they needed to tie something together, and they're not going to go out in the woods and refilm it or whatever. But I really, as far as the Harbinger of Doom guy, he was that part was one of the best parts of the movie for me, because he came in and was like, hey, what are you fuckers doing here? like he acted like he was like the cops or something. Right. He's like, what are you fuckers doing here? Give me some coffee. This coffee sucks. I'm going to drink your beer. Your girlfriend's probably dead. Fuck off. Like,
I genuinely thought I thought he was somehow going to have more of a significant part of like, he knows how to work with them. Like we've seen those characters before. Like I almost thought he was going to be that. And he's the first one who dies.
He's just there to say you're all doomed in Norwegian and then fuck off.
Make me coffee. This coffee sucks. Give me some beer.
He had some really cool looks though. I love like I remember one of the medical students just kind of like, oh, we're medical students, we'll survive. His immediate reaction, I felt like, was the best expression I've ever seen. Like it is the most. It's filled with disgust and also just like, holy fuck, you have no idea what you're talking about, and it's beautiful.
Well, I wanted to ask you two are more traveled and has experienced more beer than I have. Did you recognize any of the brands that they were drinking in the cabin?
No, I didn't.
Okay. I had the movie down pretty small. So, because I was watching it at work. Don't tell my boss. And so I couldn't tell now.
The only one that I stopped to try to look at was when he was like get the pills. And I was like, hey, guy likes a good pills. I'm a pillsy boy. And then I tried to like, slow it down on that, but it was kind of shadowy. And also I just like didn't really recognize it. Mm-hmm. So I just figured it was some like either fake brand or like, Norwegian, something I've never seen before.
I was just curious. Wondering if anybody recognized anything.
I do want to go back and look though.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know that many like Scandinavian popular brands. Like when I went to Sweden one time and I just drank Carlsberg and like Killian's and stuff like that. But I mean, that was in 2007. So,
did you guys notice that this, Steve? You probably know more about why this is the case, and it might just be the quality of the camera, whatever. But it's like movies like this, especially from like early 2000s to maybe like 2010, 2012, I feel like you can tell, like the way they're shot, they almost look like a Hallmark movie or something like that. The way that they're shot, like the lighting is really not great, but also like kind of, I don't know, maybe washed out is the way to put it. But it just, you can tell, specifically European films too. Like I feel like there's so many films I can go like, you could show me a still and I'd be like, yeah, that's probably from like mid 2000s, European flick.
Yeah. Yeah. It is literally just like the way the cameras were built or anything. And it was funny, like booting up this movie again and watching it is like so much of, especially that opening scene that's shot, I think it's shot day for night, meaning that it was
so dark.
Yeah, it's not during the day and just filter or something.
Yeah, and it's filtered down to look night, so it's like everything's a blue tinge, and it's just because cameras of that day, they were so fucking terrible for shooting at night. They couldn't do, you just couldn't get the kind of ISO that you needed for filming at night without like a lot of lights. Yeah. So it all has that same like fakey video look. And I'm always curious about it too, because like you see how film can be upgraded to 4K. And I'm wondering if like these, like the technology's so early and like there's so like few pixels at play in these early films from the 2000s. Like, can they be upgraded? But if you watch Dead Snow 2, it starts, spoiler, there's a Dead Snow 2. But
it's like Red versus Dead or something like that.
But if it starts with a montage of Dead Snow, and like the footage looks like 100 times better. So I was
going to say, I remember I've seen 2 more recently than 1. I probably saw the first one maybe like 5 or 6 years ago. And then I saw 2 just maybe in the last year or 2. Yeah. And I didn't remember it looking this bad.
Yeah.
And it was only a few years later, wasn't it? Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was quite a bit later. I wanted to say it was like 2014. 2009, 2014.
Yeah, 2014 for 2014 for Dead Snow 2. And then it's just something, because even when I was in college filming on the cameras I had in college, which was like 2007, it probably would have been a particular about the same as what they had for this film. So they don't do good in the dark. They need a ton of light, and they don't do color very well. It's just a lot going on that hurts films from this era that were indie, but they had such charm. you had to survive on a lot of charm.
For sure. The kill scenes overall I thought were mostly good. When he finds the old guy in the tent, that silhouette was shot really well, like through the tent, and then the kind of little jump scare you get when he's searching for him and finds his corpse in the tent and stuff. There was a lot of good visuals. So like you can tell they were doing a lot with a little.
Yeah, I love the so what we're talking about is like Vergard goes off on his own to find his girlfriend Sarah, which you come to find was the girl that was killed in the cold open of this film. But like, I love all that footage that they did of him just riding the snowmobile in the mountains, and it's like sports footage.
Just doing rad jumps and shit.
You could just tell like the B unit on this production came from like a sports background, and they're like, oh, we just want to film shit in the mountains being cool on snowmobiles.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was great too. And I mean, I also was just like, because that first death basically with the wanderer who heard a noise. He basically was camping in the middle of winter, which I always find to be interesting and weird. But yeah, he hears a noise and he goes outside and basically has one of the zombies just rushes by and slits his throat, which I also found just to be kind of mildly comical. Like
he had them wheelie shoes again, just like Ghostface. He was like, bye bye.
So then basically, I love that. I thought that kill scene was pretty funny in that. I don't know why I found some of these kills to be funny in ways.
Because they're hilarious.
They are.
Yeah, there's some good ones.
This is shot like Looney Tunes.
Yeah, we get like the shot of the zombie straight up just punching the fuck out of him after that in the tent and as a silhouette. I just like it's so comical. I also enjoy that most of the kills too. They just wanted to like tear apart bodies.
Yeah,
and I mean I don't want to get too far ahead too, but like Vergard's kill was probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Where he was the synchronized stabbing with the body tearing apart.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they definitely earned it. Like, he earned that death, and, like, everything around that was earned. It was so great. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think we're to that point now. Like, yeah, we have Vergard off, and he finds that the Wanderer has been killed by the Nazis. And about that same time is when the Nazis show up at the cabin as well. Because
this is when shit goes off for sure.
Because you have Erland, who is the movie nerd. He goes out to take a poop, and if you're remembering your rules of Scream, he says, even though he says it in an Arnold Schwarzenegger impression, he says, "I'll be back," but you never say, "I'll be right back." That's the rules of Scream. You don't do that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you could tell that. I mean, they also like right either before they have to throw in like a Temple of Doom quote too in Indiana Jones, the Temple of Doom quote.
Yeah,
like they were definitely, they were definitely students of that era of film,
but
of like the 80s and 90s.
They also played by the rules that they had to. Anyone who has sex is going to die, basically too, which is also great and gross at the same time. Where Chris basically meets him in the porta potty and is just like, yeah, you just got done shitting. We're going to bang right here on this toilet.
She's a filth dog.
She's down to clown. If there's one thing I know about Chris is she's down to clown.
No slut shaming here at all, though.
No, but yeah, she's like
poop.
I don't even know if she gave him a chance to wipe, or did she just hop on?
Hold on, Meg. You said that you would smell poop, but would you? It's so cold out there.
The freshness of it, I think you would actually for a hot minute. I think for me it would have been a mental thing. And there's no way I'm getting off at that point.
I'm also saying like that dude, judging from how ill-fitting his shirt is, he takes sloppy shits.
That's a good guess. But also, like, she initiates by
she does.
by sucking his fingers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
While he's on the toilet.
Not just wash his hands. See, there's no sink. There's no sink. She definitely. I mean, we might need a replay on it to make sure to see which hand he wiped with to really verify the grossness of it.
I'm pretty sure he's right-handed, and she went right for the right hand. Look, I'm not trying to kink shame, but she is a filth dog.
People are into a lot of things. People are into a lot of things. Okay.
I'm not trying to kink shame. But she is a filthy piece of garbage. Oh yeah, I mean it's unsanitary. That's all I'm saying. I hope she doesn't work in a restaurant. That's all I'm saying.
If she didn't die from the zombies, she would have died from some sort of intestinal infection.
Yeah,
which is also a theme of this movie.
Intestines, yes.
Intestines.
Yes.
Great segue. That's what it's called, a segue, guys. Erling goes back in, all happy-go-lucky, and Chris gets fucking murdered, which I also found, I was like, she just gets sucked in by the toilet. I want to know what kind of shady business they're doing with this bathroom where she could somehow be, like, pulled in from underneath unless the zombie somehow, there's, like, an entryway to go up and under and grab her.
I don't know.
I was trying to.
They come from the ground.
Yeah.
You know.
But he was walking right outside. He was walking around outside.
Could have been a different one.
Yeah, there's
so
like
you're
hundreds
saying there
of
were
them.
two? We only saw one at that point.
Right, you only saw one at that point, but by the end of the movie, you see there's easily like 110.
Sure.
So yeah,
sure. Then if there was there's just no continuities. Then if we're going with that, there's no continuity to having
I
two
love how
zombies.
specific that estimate was, Steve.
Right.
There's like 110.
yeah.
Like you thought to yourself, 100 is no. There's definitely more than 100, but not that much more. Than 100. Like 10 more than that.
Yeah, you have the 100 regular guard, and then you have like the 10 guys that are close to the colonel and the colonel himself. That's 10.
I just like to see. I just love these little glimpses into how your brain works.
It doesn't. That's the great thing.
Chris's head at the window. That was a cool scene.
Yeah.
Where they're like,
my
she's out there.
Yeah, because Hannah's almost relieved.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, fuck.
Do Norwegians notoriously have like bad eyesight? Because like Martin is the only one that has glasses, but like Vergard couldn't tell that the guy in the tent was dead until he really opened it.
You think this is like a British people have bad teeth type situation?
Yeah. Hannah couldn't tell that was a decapitated head.
Hey, I don't want to start creating stereotypes about my Scandinavian brethren and
Scandinavians are notoriously nearsighted.
I'm just asking.
I mean,
the
I don't have
the Irish are illiterate.
I don't have perfect eyesight, so I clearly can't. But I don't speak for my people, you know.
Okay, so you're saying you don't have perfect eyesight, but also you're not wearing glasses at this point. So it's like if you're all just like trying to tough it out because you think you're cool.
I think they're stubborn people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the Norwegians, the Nordic folk are a stubborn people.
Okay. That makes sense.
Hey,
They appreciate. They like.
We are a tough bunch.
They're
Genuinely.
That's what I'm saying. They're very. What's the word I'm looking for? Kind of
bullheaded,
rustic. Yeah, I was gonna say kind of rough and tumble.
Yeah.
So you're like, I don't need glasses. God damn it.
And then you go to Stockholm though, and you're like, nah, bro.
And also, if you think of like
the
Nords in the U.S. in the Midwest, you ask them how it's going, and they say can't complain, despite having a lot to complain about. So,
sure, sure. Oh yeah,
can't fucking see shit. And
oh yeah,
oh yeah, sure.
Eyesight's all bad. Can't tell their friends are dead.
Like, just go to the fucking doctor, dude.
Eating fish, it smells terrible.
It's not too bad.
My sister-in-law
Fargo taught us a lot too.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, my sister-in-law is of Nordic descent as well, and I can attest to the fact that she does not wear glasses, though she needs them. So, anecdotally, I have experienced this firsthand.
I am breaking the lid open on this conspiracy.
Sometimes, guys.
Yeah. Fast forward a few months, Steve's got a whole New York Times piece out about this.
Nordic people can't see.
Okay, this is a sidebar story, but it's kind of mildly related. Do you guys ever watch How I Met Your Mother?
I mean, not anymore.
No, I mean,
I'm just going to narrow in on very one specific storyline to it. So Jason Segal's character, Marshall, is from Minnesota, and the Robin Scherbatsky character, what is her name? Kobe, whatever. Anyway, she's from Canada. So at one point he tries to she's feeling lonely because she's not in Canada, so he brings her to this Minnesota bar, and come to find out that all these Minnesotans have these rumors made up and stereotypical jokes about how Canadians are just scared of the dark. And so all of this conversation is just instantly triggering me to think about that one thing that
Canadians
we are doing.
Are scared of the dark.
Yeah,
I like that.
Well, are they? I'm going to investigate.
It's more interesting. It's a more interesting stereotype than they're polite.
Right.
Yeah. But I always found it really funny because he's from Minnesota, go Vikings. Oh yeah, no kidding. Scared of the dark.
That's why they live so close to the Northern Lights.
Hey, that's just a sweet story, Steve. That's like a lullaby waiting to happen. Where the fuck are we? Okay, Erlen's about to die.
People
guys.
are getting killed-ish.
Shit's
shit
dying.
is coming into the house. Yeah.
I'm kind of sad that he didn't make it out, but it also makes sense that he died. He was definitely a weaker character, but at the same time, like he was like feeding into all the tropes too. So great, yeah, no, he gets his face ripped apart by the zombies and his brain falls on the ground. And I thought that brain was actually pretty good.
It's a good brain.
Yeah, it was a good effect.
It's important that him and Chris both die, because Chris kind of reveals that she knows movies as well. So it's important that the two of them die early, because I feel like both of them would have known Leprechaun lore and would have been able to sort out this whole gold business quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was going to say.
We wouldn't have had to have Dead Snow 2, but I feel like that would have made it a more interesting story if maybe they did. I don't mind those type of things where they try to give it away. I'm trying to think. I feel like I know that storyline, if like we've seen it before, but I can't think of the movie off the top of my head. Maybe you guys have had an experience where we have like a character who's like knowledgeable on like the lore and is able to be like, no, let's like fucking do this and let's save the day.
Yeah, versus... Cabin in the Woods.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like the lore teller, but like a fourth wall breaking lore teller kind of thing is, I mean, they obviously play super heavily with the tropes and certainly in the final act of that movie. But I would have loved if he would have been like, as he's getting tore apart, like sucked through the window and tore apart, he was like, choke on it. And he like tried to like make a sweet joke. He was like, did that, bro? See you later, bye.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have Erland now dead. Sorry, I'm going to get back to my notes. We keep jumping back and forth between like where Vergard's at and whatnot. And at one point he does meet up with some zombies and basically he's walking around, he falls into like basically a shelter, wakes up, and then starts exploring through this like underground tunnel of sorts that was created. And this is where he finds out that like all the fucking things that are going on are related to like Nazi shit. And he finds Sarah's head, which also I think is a pretty cool scene. He eventually,
good little jump scare,
which was also shot for comedy as well, because it's helmet, head.
Just like... yeah, absolutely. And I also feel like he starts hearing the growling, which these undead characters just like are basically growling the entire time. And that's how like you hear them breathing as if maybe they're just like super overweight or something. They're just like, they almost like
growl.
Yeah. And he gets like punched out of this tunnel, which was very comical in a lot of ways.
And then does a full-on like Tommy boy fall down the hill.
He gets thrown out of the tunnel like Jazzy Jeff and then falls down like Chris Farley. It is hilarious.
He does do the Jazzy. Wow! Like Uncle Phil launched him down the hill.
Really yeeted on that one. That punch
he did. Yeah, I just imagine like he should have got up at the bottom and be like, what the hell was that all about?
I feel like he also like comes to like, because he saw the Nazi shit, he's like comes to have this understanding very quickly on like what he needs to fucking do. Whereas I think some of the other characters, it took them a while to be like, we just gotta fucking fight. Because like even up to this point, they like we kind of touched on it already that like the zombies are like, or these undead are like built up as if this unstoppable force and they're like super badass, but then you have these like side scenes where they just seriously get punched and you're like, wow, it looks easy. You guys are making this like mad easy.
Yeah, like 4 of them get together and they can completely like quarter somebody,
right?
But one of them is like above average strength a little bit. It doesn't add up. Well, they're like the Planeteers. They're more powerful when they get together and put their rings together.
It's an exponential strength increase.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I follow this logic.
Yeah. While Vergard is trying to get back to the group because he realizes Sarah's dead, he's got to get back. Martin, Roy, Hannah, and fucking forgetting the blonde haired chick's name. I feel like Liv. They're basically coming up with a plan to like, let's fucking fight. So the two guys basically are trying to like get their attention and like draw them out so they can fucking kill them, while Hannah and Liv basically are deciding they're just gonna run and hide. Is like, that was the vibe.
They're running for the car.
Yeah. And so this is when people just start dying, and Liv is the first one to succumb, which it almost seemed like she's like, we're good, we're not good. and now my intestines are being pulled out by 2 different undead Nazis.
That's how it goes with zombies.
Yep.
You know,
All's well and good until your guts get ripped out.
I'm just very curious with like how thoughtful they come across that like they're so fascinated by intestines. Though here's another thing, I wonder if it's like they just work with a lot of special effects. They're like, we're really good at intestines.
Yes.
What do you think about
100%. Yeah.
Because
They had
we
they had a good gut guy.
Yeah.
They had a good guy. Eats good
great-
organs.
Yeah, when you
Takes a lot of probiotics.
when you're good at one thing, you got to repeat it the most. maybe he's not great at exploding heads. Maybe he's not great at squibs. You know,
Sure.
Yeah.
doesn't have that in his repertoire, but he knows how to stuff Jello into pig intestines.
Can we agree though the best intestine scene is when Vergard gets like jumps off, or is like falls off the cliff with the one zombie and
Yeah.
basically grabs the intestine and is like
Yeah,
hanging
that
off
was a Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah,
thing,
yeah,
that was
no, that
literally.
was perfect. It was
Yeah,
great. It was
I
awesome.
love all the best comedy to this day is just rehashings of old Looney Tunes cartoons.
And that's all this movie is. It's all Looney Tunes shit. We're talking about Liv. Like she dies, but she doesn't die without exploding one of the old hand grenades, and you see it off in the distance, which is another Wile E. Coyote or like Yosemite Sam. You see them explode in the distance after Bugs Bunny has run away. That's exactly what that was.
Was that and I didn't rewind it because I didn't care enough, but was it that looked like a real explosion?
No,
I don't think
that
it
was CGI.
That
was CGI.
Was it?
Yeah.
After I saw it, I was like, was that CGI? And then I didn't care enough to find the remote.
Yeah, it totally was. Yeah.
Oh.
I mean,
News to me.
I mean,
Man, Steve, you need to teach us all the special effects bullshit.
So,
man.
I mean, I guess it was relatively okay in terms of like the way the smoke looked behind the trees, and then that made me think, well, it's probably not because all the other CGI is horrific.
So let me walk it back for a second. It might be like a real explosion that was filmed like on a green screen or a black screen, and then then composited over the film.
Yeah,
that's
that makes sense.
Yeah, because I think they did that a lot later in the film when they have all the zombies waking up. They didn't bury all those people in the snow on a mountain. I'm pretty sure they filmed them like on a stage. Had them getting up out of the snow and then composited that all over the snow as well. So yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, I think they had a pretty good special effects team. I read like the budget was $800,000 for this.
Whoa, that's good.
Yeah, so like back in...
That's pretty impressive.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm figuring this is another situation like the New Zealand Film Board giving Bad Taste a whole bunch of money. Perhaps there's a Norwegian Film Board that's like, I guess if you're going to make a movie... Here.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Did we get to the point yet where there was what I could only describe as like a Metal Gear style cinema scene? Do you know what I'm talking about? Where there was this weird CGI cinema kind of inserted, and it just felt like a cinema cutscene from like a PlayStation game. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I'm actually kind of lost.
Yeah.
All right, we'll come back to it because I didn't write down what occurred in it. I just wrote down Metal Gear cinema clip, and I was like, everyone's going to know what I'm talking about, but apparently not.
Did you just have an ad?
Maybe I was just like half asleep, and it was just like, it was a commercial for like the General Insurance or something, and I was
that's fucking hilarious.
No, it was something in the movie. Now I have to go back and look.
Yeah,
you fuckers.
Anywho, so at this point we get Vergard. He's on a fucking snowmobile with a machine gun, which I mean, I didn't really see exactly where he pulled it from, but I'm assuming he got it from like the shelter of sorts that he was in.
Yeah, where he was in the bunker or something. I don't know.
And so he starts going out, and Roy and Martin are now starting to kill zombies, and we're thinking that they have everything under control. Hannah had also been attacked, and she ended up getting covered under snow, which I don't know about you guys. I legit was like getting I get claustrophobic just watching people in that scenario. I was like, I am so uncomfortable right now. And it was perfect. It was great.
Yeah.
Actually.
Honestly, it was so great though. I think it was out of place because like that was
Sure.
yeah. Like that shot, especially the one you're talking about, where like she is in an avalanche, and it's disorienting, and like you can only tell which direction is up because she has snot flowing upward from her nose from the way it's filmed, and it's such a great shot. But it made me think, oh, this should be in The Descent or something like that.
Yeah, sure.
I immediately thought of The Descent too, because the scenes, and I'm not even a particularly claustrophobic person, but that movie made me squirm, you know,
Same.
and it reminded me of that.
Yeah, totally. So she ends up getting out, and then again, we have Vergard then meets up with Martin and Roy. They are just fucking up more undead Nazis, and then Vergard, basically thinking he started getting a little cocky, you know? He got a little cocky. And so he got his.
He starts doing some sweet. Wait, is he the one who starts doing some sweet kills with the snowmobile?
Yes. Yeah.
Like he does like a wheelie and runs over him, and then he like.
Those were some of my favorite zombie kills though. Of his unique like use of a snowmobile.
He like peels out on the one's head with the treads and like sprays his head everywhere.
Vergard gets all the best stuff. He got the Jazzy Jeff Phil throw. He got the one that we passed over, like when he's leaving on the snowmobile, the zombie hooks onto the back of his snowmobile and stands up and then gets hit by the branch off the back of it. That is
I feel like that was so subtle, but you're just like, what?
It was so funny.
Like I thought it was a really cool add to that.
He gets the machine gun. He gets all the stuff Brian was just talking about. He gets all the best, and then he gets the best death.
He does get the best death. Let's talk about that. He gets the synchronized stabbing.
And is it 4 zombies at once?
Like 4 or 5.
Yeah, I'm like, they're literally all around him. Synchronized stabbing and then body ripped apart. The best death ever.
And I loved, my favorite part about that is like the limbs, like especially his legs. They were like so clean. They just looked like a fake, like ham or something, like a prop ham on the inside, just that one bow in the middle. It reminded me of like a prop. If you ever watch like Good Eats with Alton Brown, back in, like it reminded me of a prop he would have for like explaining a bone-in ham, you know, or something.
They were Ibiricos for the after party.
Afterwards.
Hey guys, we have a good budget, but not that great of a good budget. You know,
they put him on one of those little stands, but there was like a shoe on the end.
Right.
So when are you going to bring the ham back to the mess hall? So yeah, I think then right after that we have the scene where basically Hannah, rampage mode. Martin goes not full rampage mode right now, but he's like basically just hammering in on the zombie, and then all of a sudden he gets this noise and he thinks there's another zombie behind him, swings back and he fucking kills Hannah, which I'm kind of like, so this was a weird scene that I don't think they executed perfectly, because I feel like the timing was uncomfortable and too long, whereas it could have been, there's certain things I feel like could have been better. Anywho, whatever. I think it was like I'm kind of glad he did that, because basically he went in rampage mode after that.
Right.
That basically commenced rampage.
Was that before or after the chainsaw and him and the other guy like charging them with the chainsaw?
It was after.
Yeah,
that's it.
Like when they started attacking all the zombies, they were just like, you know, in this macho like, yes, we're gonna fucking just take every weapon and fucking just kill everyone. So.
Roy had a cute little moment too, though, because he had the hammer and sickle. You know, as you're fighting Nazis with the hammer and sickle in Norway, you know, it's a good.
There you go. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. I like that.
It's a good Russian reference, but
good symbolism.
Yeah, just to jump back to that kill of Hannah, I didn't think it worked that well either, and also just because if you go back to earlier in the movie, there's that really weird, awkward scene they have together, where like he smothers her.
Yeah, he was a psycho from the beginning.
I almost felt like
let's play this game where I almost suffocate you.
Yeah, like why are you that upset? You almost fucking killed your girlfriend. I don't know why I didn't touch on that earlier too, but yeah, no, because I had a note about that. It was
I did too, and I was like, we're just gonna gloss over
her because he wanted to fucking kill her, but I don't really understand if there's something deeper or they're trying to say something else. I could not read into that.
And that's what doesn't work about it, because it's like it just comes off as bad because he tries to kill her earlier in the movie and then he does actually kill her. But like, he has no reason to kill her. There's no subtext as to why he would.
I feel like it was supposed to be like the original thing was supposed to be like playful.
Yeah,
but it just came off as like
maybe there's something to do because they're all fucking doctors. Maybe it's like feeding into some idea about some people being reckless and that like maybe that's who he is, you know. I don't know, I could see some sort of, but I feel like you have to reach to get to get to that point, but maybe there's something
so there. I mean what smothering does, it does set up it does create the foreshadowing that she hates small spaces, so for when she is buried in the avalanche. But like he just initiates it by like, hey, do you want to see how they did in this, anesthesia in the Middle Ages? They sit on your hands and smother you until you go out. And it's like, well, were you going to smother her till she actually went out? What the fuck, dude?
Right.
What was the plan here? Yeah.
Christ.
Did you guys, I don't know the song. I don't know if anybody looked up any context around it, but that's going back to the scene where they're running towards it, like, charging the zombies with the chainsaw and stuff. That's like very weirdly upbeat song where they're singing Hallelujah, but I can't understand anything else because it's in like Norwegian. Any other context around that? And nobody's ever heard that song or anything?
I actually just think it was a missed opportunity to have Iron Maiden like sponsor this entire film.
Well, the overall like soundtrack was very up and down, and I took that because it was this weirdly kind of lighthearted song for that. I thought that was like a Shaun of the Dead reference,
right?
Okay,
which would have been like the scene in Shaun of the Dead where Don't Stop Me Now is playing, in the pub, and they're like whacking the zombies and stuff. But I never heard the song before, so obviously there was some context lost there.
Maybe there's also like another cultural significance to it, like it's something that they played, after World War II, like after they got out of Nazi occupation. So who knows? I don't know.
Well, word.
I think at this point we're at the point where Martin has to lose an arm.
So I think they think he is going to turn into a zombie, which I see, and I think that led into the confusion about why are we at all calling this anywhere related to zombies. If like I would actually rather have like them have always referred to them as the undead, but I don't think they do. I think they definitely call them Nazi zombies.
There's not been any evidence up to this point that being bitten turns you.
Right.
It seemed like a big jump.
Because Vergard didn't change. Yeah, Vergard would have been our example, and he didn't. Though I did have a note about him getting bit and like fixing himself up. I was just like, I thought it was great that he like sewed himself up and he was like, duct tape, yo. Yeah. I was like, see guys, no.
No, it's all because of Erland. Because Erland said zombie, and Erland, before he died, said don't get bit. So that's the only reason why these characters think they're zombies. I think it's obvious to us that there's something else. But it's like, and it's just for this comedic moment of, Martin cutting his own arm off that he doesn't have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then he's so proud of himself when he cauterizes the wound and then a zombie bites his dick.
Yeah. Yes. I don't think there was enough emphasis on that particular scene because I don't think he would be able to like run as far as he did. I mean, resilience, definitely would come into play.
Listen,
but,
when you got the all your juices flowing, you know what I mean? You've got.
But that's an easy place to lose all the juice, man. Like.
I mean, literal juice? Yes, I suppose you're right. I mean,
he's getting his dick man. Like, there's a lot of blood going. I mean, he's like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I meant like adrenaline, not dick blood. But
I was thinking of just blood in general, and that was a good spot for it to come out because he got bit.
Yeah.
Between that and the R. Okay. Yeah, so we have Roy and Martin running off. So let's pause for a second. This is where we get basically they think they killed all the zombies.
Right.
Which I think is great. And this is the perfect, almost like Infamous when you start looking up this movie, you're like, ooh, let's look at the zombies coming back to life scene. And this is when we meet the 110 zombies that exist as Colonel Herzog's troops.
Yeah.
So we like see Colonel, he comes out. And then he basically is like growling and then screams and everyone wakes up. And I think that's actually a really cool scene. I kind of like that a lot.
Doesn't he do like a rise something? Like he says he's the only one who
Does he
talks,
actually
right?
say?
In some capacity.
He screams something in German, but it's something that gets them
because
all
the
up.
subtitles said
Hey guys, I don't know German.
Yeah.
I'm coming from the Scandinavian side of things. Like,
yeah, that's true. You don't. I'll give you a pass. You don't speak German, and Steve and I, as you know, fluent in German.
Right. I know Krankenwagen and I know Ein Pferd. That's it.
The Bier und Wasser means beer and water.
yeah, so we have the ultimate rise of fucking zombies. Sorry, I didn't mean to be like, yeah, no, we're done talking about that. That was a dead joke. Oh, sorry, guys. And yeah, so he basically sends the zombies after Martin and Roy. They're like, fuck this shit. We're getting out of here. So I thought it was really great. And then Colonel Herzog grabs the hammer, which I don't know if you guys noticed. They have like super fast tendencies that aren't necessarily, I think, like exhibited visually until you're just like, where the fuck did that thing come from?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the moments we have, and that's when we go back to the wheelies. Like, like, but also, how do they do that in the snow? So
they
I don't know,
have
maybe they're on
the
skis or
Inspector
something like
Gadget
that.
skis in their shoes.
Yeah, that makes
Exactly.
sense.
With the little
here for it.
springs.
They say "Go Gadget skis" in German, and off they go.
We gotta look that up. That's going on a shirt.
Nazi gadget, go gadget. Or I mean,
Yeah.
Nazi Inspector Gadget.
Nazi skis.
And they're not go gadget. They're Nazi skis. He's just
There's
gonna
not,
know.
yeah,
Nazi
there's no,
skis.
there's
They
no
just watch.
go-go. Go-go is way too encouraging, so it
Yeah.
has to be something else. It's like 9 skis. It's obviously very evident that the colonel picking up the hammer is important, and he ends up quickly somehow getting ahead of all the other troops and hitting Roy. And Roy gets fucking like stopped in his like tracks. He runs into a tree. Again, we have an intestine scene. He is now dead. And we kind of have this idea that like, or Martin then gets the idea. He's like, he somehow clicks to him that they want the treasure.
Mhm.
Like I don't think there was any, unless I missed something, I don't think there's any actual like scene where he understands that they just want their treasure.
Yeah, there is.
Well, there's when he gives him, with the box, right?
Well,
No, but what leading up to that makes him realize, oh, that's what it was. It was he grabbed the watch out of the pocket. That's what
Right,
it was.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
No,
after
no, I
he
got it,
kills
I got
him
it.
with the
Yeah.
hammer, he picks up the pocket watch.
Okay, I take everything I said back. So Martin gets the idea that he's like, I'm going to go back to the house. I'm going to get the rest of the treasure. Okay, cool, sweet. It works. So he thinks. And this is basically, he's like, cool, I'm free and clear. I get back to the car. I'm now depressed. All my friends are dead. I have nothing. I have no arm. And all of a sudden, a coin drops out of his pocket. And he's like, oh, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think he knew. I don't think he even realized it was in his pocket. He like took it so long ago and he's so traumatized.
Nah.
He's like, fuck,
well,
I forgot.
he actually didn't even take it. Hannah slipped it into his pocket. Well,
Okay. I must have missed that scene.
And then he did the old Ralphie seeing the lug nuts against the silhouette of the traffic. Oh, fudge.
Yeah. And then we have the colonel, and he's like, "Give me my fucking shit and your car." I bet you he
Old
took his
Colonel
car too.
Underbite himself.
I mean, if he was like legit, he would have taken his car too.
He looks like a pug. Doesn't he look like an old pug dog with
pretty
that
much,
underbite? Yeah.
I mean, probably sounds like one too with that type of growling, because usually I think like when pugs like just breathe, they sound like they're dying.
Yeah,
so.
they don't breathe right.
Yo, we've bred them to not be able to survive on their own.
It was hilarious.
They need us.
Hilarious idiot dogs can't breathe.
Bruce needs me.
We did the most hilarious eugenics ever.
Fucking stupid dog. Nice face, idiot.
All right, so we're at the end of the movie, and we clearly see zombies are still alive. So that's when we have Dead Snow 2, and we're not talking about that tonight.
Not tonight.
We're not.
Although It is. I would honestly equate it a little bit to Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 in that the sequel is much more polished, but it does, I don't want to say lacks the charm, but it's a very different tone. Like if you're a big fan of the first one, you might not love the second one. Not love it. Not that you won't like it, but like it feels very different.
Yeah. I can understand that.
I think they're both fun. Watch them both.
Yeah, no, they are
I
both
will.
fun.
I do need to watch the second one. But yeah, so guys, that's the end of the movie. You're welcome. Again, your champion bringing you a fun fucking movie.
A benevolent leader, as always.
I like how you use the leader term. I didn't say it this time.
I'd say it.
You did. Where's my fucking crown, guys? I want a crown.
There's never been a crown. If you want a crown, you are welcome to make yourself a crown.
Yeah.
You know what? I might make myself a crown.
I do not have any more yoga mats, so you are going to have to supply your own yoga mat.
Yo, I have nothing going on this weekend. I think I might go to the craft store.
Taking a trip to the Burger King and the Pacatans. She's going to have herself a crown.
You need to do like the one like Triple H and when he comes up with the skull one on and shit.
That's so funny.
How many accessories do you need? You already have the lucha mask. She's got the lucha mask, the belt, the crown, the dog.
The dog.
Excuse me, guys. I feel attacked, and I love my accessories. I mean, the lucha mask. You know what I could do is almost be like attach a crown to the lucha mask, so I only wear it when I'm the leader. But hey, you guys are giving it away that it's a me.
It's a me.
It's a me. It's a me, Meg. Just turned into fucking Mario.
I'm a leader.
Swedish Mario. Hordy, doctor, it's a me, Meg.
That was me getting a coin, guys. Okay. All right.
Well, we have done it.
Once again.
Yes.
We've done it, guys. Now, let me remind everyone out there one more again. If you haven't already, follow us over on the social medias. Honestly, just go, type in Halloween is Forever on the social medias and we'll pop up. And keep a lookout this week because we'll post something. We usually post it in Instagram stories and then we post it on in the Twitter feed as well. And then we combined the scores from both of them to get our winner. Reminder what you're going to be voting on so you can think about it for the next few days until the time comes to submit that all-important vote. It is, Killer Cars, right? Big Top Horror, and then Horror Comedy. So 3 lovely, luscious topics for you to vote on.
Guys.
Do we know what we're going to do next week?
No, not yet. I mean,
nope,
we can talk about it.
The world is our oyster.
We can surprise the
audience. The world
audience.
is a vampire. We could go definitely Smashing Pumpkins on this one, guys.
We could talk about Billy Corgan's, wrestling endeavors. We can talk about the time he's owned wrestling companies.
The time that he was on the cover of Cat Fancy.
That too.
What?
He was on the cover of Cat Fancy magazine.
Yeah. Damn. I think I heard recently. Does he have like a tea shop or somewhere? Maybe like in Illinois, Chicago?
Yeah,
area?
sure. I thought he had a tea shop.
So.
He probably has a brewery. I don't know. He has everything.
Yeah.
He's a man of many tastes.
Interesting.
He's a Renaissance man.
I like saying Renaissance. It sounds a little bit
fancier
pinky,
than I am.
Pinky out. I'm gonna go eat some charcuterie after this. I'm not. I'm gonna go get drunk.
You're just gonna be eating
It's gonna be
pepperoni
the
off the
Slim
top of
Jim
cold
that
pizza.
I just actually ate, and like some string cheese.
It's actually this is completely off topic, and then we're gonna abruptly end the show, and I don't want to hear any comments after it. I am gonna open a pizza place. And I'm going to insist that the pizzas are charcuterie boards, and I'm going to put pepperoni and salami and all these things on top of the pizzas, and I'm going to upcharge the hell out of them to dumb yuppies and say, Look, they're edible charcuterie boards, and they're just fucking pizzas.
I will absolutely invest in this.
Thanks for joining us once again, boys and girls, on another episode of Halloween is
Take my
Forever.
money.
I'm Brian.
Megan.
I am looking for some charcuterie boards.
See you around. Bye.
Bye.